Chapter 24-28, The Torrent of Fate, 1. Hearing the first Black Moon Priest's words strengthened Zhang Yi's resolve. I don't care what kind of cosmic laws or fate this is. I only know that if anyone tries to hurt me, my family, or everything I love, I will fight back to the very end. He stared at the first Black Moon Priest, a smile playing on his lips. Just like you, who rebelled against Samuel. Zhang Yi's words greatly eased the gloom in the hearts of Saladin, King Arthur, and others. Yes, fate demanded that they bow their heads and obediently march towards their demise. But why can't they defy fate? As long as they become powerful enough, neither the Day of Fall nor any creator can destroy them. The first Black Moon Priest quietly observed Zhang Yi, a slight smile playing on her lips. You are indeed very interesting. Perhaps your existence can bring some unexpected changes to us. We will continue to observe and see what path you will ultimately take. Zhang Yi didn't say anything more. He understood that this cosmic contest was no longer just a battle of strength, but also a duel of mind and will. And he is destined to write his own chapter in this endless game. Zhang Yi, along with King Arthur, Saladin, Morgan, Yang Xinxin, and others, left the depths of the Dark Moon Empire. They carried with them a wealth of resources bestowed by the Black Moon Priests, as well as newly acquired knowledge, the method of absorbing cosmic energy through meditation. They carry knowledge and power from different civilizations. As the Black Moon Priest said, everything in the universe is governed by power, and their fate seems to be drawn by an irreversible force. As the group embarked on their journey home, traversing the vast sky and looking back at the world that had once fallen and collapsed, Zhang Yi's heart was filled with complex emotions. He still vividly remembered the words spoken by the first Black Moon Priest, as if each sentence was challenging the beliefs deep within his heart. She said the fate of the 6th generation of humans was already sealed, and the next generation would be the 7th, and they were merely paving the way for the protagonists of the next era. Her words forced Zhang Yi to consider whether such an unchangeable fate truly existed. At this moment, the atmosphere on the spaceship was not heavy, but rather relaxed and expectant. Although everyone was deep in thought, the relaxed atmosphere in their conversations prevented the journey from becoming dull. Thaddeus, Sue, and Brian, two guys with very different personalities, always managed to bring some humorous banter to any serious moment. Tell me, what if we really become stepping stones? That would be such a waste. Thaddeus Sue chuckled as he chimed in. Brian rolled his eyes. You're the paving stone. I'm the steel Great Wall of humanity's future. The Great Wall of Steel? Thaddeus Sue chuckled. You mean, in the future you're going to become a mobile fortress? Brian chuckled. That's right, the Great Wall of Steel. I'm the kind of guy who can scare the enemy so badly they'll wet themselves. Everyone laughed it off. Although the topic was lighthearted, Zhang Yi still had many thoughts in his mind. He still couldn't shake off the words of the first Black Moon Priest. After all, the choice of fate and the struggle of the individual seemed to be an irreconcilable contradiction. But regardless, have you seriously considered what the first Black Moon Priest said? Zhang Yi suddenly asked, his voice carrying a hint of seriousness. Once we return to Earth, we'll likely face an even more brutal struggle. King Arthur was silent for a moment, then spoke. Hearing her words, I did find them somewhat frightening. Is the fate of the universe truly, as she says, completely unchangeable? And we will be attacked by all the ancient civilizations. After they destroy us, they will fight for the right to raise the 7th generation of humans. Saladin shrugged. Actually, I don't really mind being a stay-at-home dad. After all, it's just taking care of a child. I believe that things are not that simple. Morgan spoke in a low voice, his tone not fluctuating much, but it conveyed an undeniable firmness. Just like us humans, we cannot completely control our destiny, but we can still choose the path we want to take. Saladin nodded. Yes, we may not be able to change the laws of the entire universe, but we can still change ourselves. At least we can choose whether or not to submit. Zhang Yi took a deep breath, feeling a sense of determination within him. Although the first Black Moon Priest's words made him feel oppressed, he knew that no matter what, he would not bow down to fate. As Morgan and Saladin said, humanity can choose not to give in, no matter what challenges lie ahead. The Wulwan Empire has been completely destroyed by me. This was the first time Zhang Yi had publicly revealed this matter. Although they had already suspected it, King Arthur and the others were still somewhat surprised to hear the definite news from Zhang Yi himself. The Wulwan Empire, you really destroyed it? Chaos, you bastard. Saladin was surprised, but he clearly had a smile on his face. After all, Zhang Yi and the others were all partners of the pupil organization. The stronger Zhang Yi is, the more beneficial it will be for their alliance. But now it seems it's not so surprising. Your strength is truly formidable. Zhang Yi put his hands in his pockets, walked to the porthole, and chatted casually with the others while looking at the scenery on the moon outside. What I mean is that the Ulawata Empire isn't that powerful in my eyes. They've been able to exist in the material world for hundreds of millions of years. Then why can't we, 6 generations of humans, do the same? He looked at King Arthur and Saladin and the others. In short, I must live on. To hell with the creator Kagago, to hell with ancient civilizations, to hell with the Drucker Titan. His gaze suddenly turned sharp. No one can stop me from living a happy and peaceful life. I think so too. Yang Xinshin said softly, her eyes sparkling with hope. Each of us can choose our own path, even if it means defying fate. After all, living itself is a form of resistance, isn't it? Yes. Fatty Sue slapped his thigh and said, if fate really wants us to be paving stones, then we must be the strongest and most resilient stones that no one can break. You're all just spouting nonsense. Brian scoffed, but then again, what exactly is fate? It sounds like an irresistible torrent that's sweeping us away. Chapter 24-29 The Torrent of Fate, 2. Zhang Yi looked at everyone, and a slight smile appeared on his face. Although Brian and Fatty Sue's words seemed rather unserious, it was precisely in this humorous and relaxed atmosphere that he felt a little bit of ease and hope. Destiny. Zhang Yi lowered his head and thought for a moment, then slowly said, fate may be irresistible, but we are not without choices. Just as I have always believed, only the strong have the right to choose, and everything we do is to become stronger. King Arthur nodded. Then let's do everything in our power to become stronger, and no matter what the road ahead may hold, we must keep going. I do hope this road will end soon. Fatty Sue shouted again. We've been walking for so long, we should have a chance to catch our breath. It would be best to solve the problem directly, so everyone can go back and get some rest. Brian chuckled. Hi, bro. You're good at finding excuses to rest, but since you're so excited, let's get going. Everyone laughed, and the atmosphere became relaxed and pleasant. Looking at his companions, Zhang Yi felt a growing sense of strength. No matter what the future holds, they will walk together and face the challenges ahead hand in hand. Zhang Yi suddenly turned to everyone and said, however, after I get back, I plan to visit the Dragon Clan beneath the Qinling Mountains first. I think that with my current strength, I'm qualified to meet them. After chatting with the Black Moon priests, Zhang Yi realized something. To deepen our understanding of this world, we must engage in dialogue with more powerful and ancient civilizations, because they hold the true secrets of this world in their hands. The Lunarians are not a race created by the Creator, and therefore there are great differences between them. So, what about the Qinling Dragon Clan? That being who shaped the innate Bagua and mastered the secrets of the universe. Zhang Yi felt that their strength was certainly no less than that of the Moon People. Now, his combat strength has reached the level of a knight. He's probably qualified to enter the Dragon Kingdom. Everyone paused for a moment, then King Arthur was the first to nod. You're right, the power of the dragons has always been an unknown quantity. Now that your strength has greatly increased, it's time for you to go and see them. The existence of dragons once shocked the entire human world. The war in which the Wulwan Empire invaded the Huashu Kingdom was watched by people all over the planet. People even thought that the Huashu Kingdom would be completely destroyed. As a result, under the watchful eyes of the entire world, the White Dragon Prince made his appearance. One man, with a double-edged sword, slashed down the almost invincible Zheng Lu with two swords and annihilated the entire army of the Wulwan Empire with a single breath. Even today, with Zhang Yi's combat power reaching the night level, he still feels that Bai Longzi's strength is incredibly formidable. Therefore, he considered this trip to the Dragon Clan to be absolutely necessary. Saladin nodded in agreement, saying, "The existence of dragons is of great importance to us humans. As far as we know, they are one of the few ancient civilizations that are benevolent towards humanity. Their wisdom and power may be of great help to us." There are many ancient civilizations, some of which were benevolent towards humanity, while others were malevolent. Most people speculate that this is related to whether they are angels of the sixth generation of humans. Zhang Yi could confirm that the Dragon Clan was the angelic race that nurtured the human lineage of the Huashu Kingdom. That's right. Zhang Yi's gaze was firm. No matter what fate brings, I will keep going. Now that we've come this far, we must continue forward. Fatty Sue suddenly blurted out, "I wonder if there are any beautiful dragon maidens in the Dragon Clan. If you can catch someone's eye and become a dragon son-in-law, then our lives will have something to look forward to. Riding a dragon? What kind of pose is this?" Zhang Yi, with drooping eyelids, said, "The problem of reproductive isolation isn't so easy to solve." Fatty Sue's eyes lit up, and he chuckled strangely. "Wouldn't that be even better?" Zhang Yi, unable to bear it any longer, punched him, sending him flying to the side. "Why don't you go and study silicone with Brian again?" Laughter echoed through the spaceship once again, and the atmosphere became incredibly relaxed. Zhang Yi finally decided on his direction. Upon returning to Earth, the dragon race beneath the Qinling Mountains will undoubtedly become the key to his further exploration of power. No matter what challenges lie ahead, he will not back down. He has decided to walk his own path, protect himself and those around him, and never let fate dictate everything. The Dreamer spacecraft landed on the surface of the moon. King Arthur and the others looked at Zhang Yi with suspicion. "Why did you stop? Who are you waiting for?" Zhang Yi looked at them and then said, "I promised the people of the Radiant Moon Empire that I would go and meet those ancient beings from their legends." Because of the turmoil in the abyss of eternal darkness, Zhang Yi chose to go there with the others before the ceremony of igniting the flame was over. However, when he first arrived on the moon, the people of the Moon Empire contacted him. They say it refers to those beings that have existed since time immemorial, and they hope to meet them. What they might really want to see is the human form of Rin, who left her physical body in the world. Just then, Zhang Yi also had some questions and wanted to consult the ancient and powerful Ihan tribe. King Arthur's eyes gleamed with excitement. "Let's go together." He also had many questions he wanted to ask. A playful smile curved Zhang Yi's lips as he lazily said, "But the only person they specifically asked to see is me. You'd better stay here quietly. Although we are familiar with each other, we are not that close yet." The information was very valuable, and he intended to keep it to himself. Morgan and the others saw through Zhang Yi's plan, so they walked over with smiles. "Don't be so stingy. We can pay for it. Name your price." "It's not about the price." Zhang Yi rolled her eyes. "Those beings could take our lives with a single breath. Since they specifically asked to see only me, I naturally cannot bring anyone else with me." Seeing that Morgan was still determined to say something more, Zhang Yi waved his hand dismissively. "All right, don't make a fuss. I'll be right back." After saying that, Zhang Yi chased them off the Dreamer. Yang Xinxin and Brian and others entered Zhang Yi's shadow, and he also took the Dreamer into the alternate dimension. King Arthur and Saladin, among others, had become accustomed to Zhang Yi's methods. Even after fighting side by side for so long, he still didn't trust anyone. Morgan was a little indignant and pointed at Brian, who was heading towards Zhang Yi's alternate dimension, saying, "We can't follow them. So why can that dog?" Hey, it can't be that humans are inferior to dogs, right?" Zhang Yi glanced at him and asked casually, "If it dares to eat shit, would you dare to eat it?" Chapter 2430, The Torrent of Fate 3. Zhang Yi's question completely stumped Morgan. He hesitated for a long time, unable to cross his own moral bottom line. After all, Morgan is currently the richest man in Colombia, a very influential figure. If we actually ate it, those malicious guys like Zhang Yi would definitely record it, and then we'd become a laughingstock all over the world. But if he didn't eat, he didn't want to miss the opportunity to converse with the ancient beings of the Radiant Moon Empire. While hesitating, Brian had already swaggered into the shadow space with a smug, dog-like gait. Zhang Yi left them where they were, then strode away, heading straight for the entrance to the underworld of the Radiant Moon Empire. Long after they left, Morgan slapped his thigh and exclaimed, "Why did they leave so soon? I actually wanted to challenge myself too." King Arthur sighed, walked over, and patted him on the shoulder. "You should just give up. Even if you do eat it, he won't take you." A group of people complained that Zhang Yi was heartless, but they had no choice but to wait for him to return. Although they have their own spaceship, Zhang Yi might be able to extract some useful information after he returns. Therefore, no one was willing to leave. When Zhang Yi went to the Radiant Moon Empire, Brian quietly said to him, "Hey bro, actually I have a very healthy diet. Don't misunderstand me." Zhang Yi said calmly, "If you say so, then so be it." Brian. Arriving in the Radiant Moon Empire, it remains that beautiful kingdom shrouded in light within the underground world. The Earthlings were their heroes, having helped them retrieve their fire, and therefore they received an extremely grand welcome. CL Yunyan came in person to guide Zhang Yi. "Have you finished dealing with things in the Dark Moon Empire?" CL Yunyan asked curiously. Zhang Yi nodded. Indeed, just as expected, there was a mole among their people. He glanced at CL Yunyan curiously. "Isn't there anyone like this in your Huiyue clan?" CL Yunyan pointed to her head. Her appearance was exquisite, almost inhuman, more like a doll made of silver and ceramic. The underlying code of our Radiant Moon clan and the Dark Moon clan is different. The two walked through a huge silver corridor, ahead of which was an incredibly long and narrow staircase leading to the underground world, seemingly without end. In the subconscious of the Dark Moon clan, there is the madness left behind by Samuel, as well as the consciousness that helped him break the seal. Therefore, the broken seal school has always existed and will be difficult to eliminate. But the will of our Radiant Moon clan is existence and protection. Fighting against Samuel is the deepest, most fundamental code of our spiritual will. She puffed out her chest proudly as she said these words. This may also be why the Radiant Moon Empire has always looked down on the Dark Moon Empire. Zhang Yi shrugged and walked side by side with her. CL Yunyan's speed increased, and Zhang Yi used his spatial teleportation ability to keep up closely beside her, not falling behind at all. This caused a strange light to appear in CL Yunyan's eyes. The two walked for an unknown amount of time before finally arriving at the end of the staircase corridor. Beneath the central region of the Radiant Moon Empire, Zhang Yi, led by Shi Lunyan, slowly stepped into that secret realm never before seen by the world. The moment he looked up and saw the completely new world, the sight before him made him hold his breath for a moment. This is an extraordinary underground world, more vast than the sky and deeper than the sea. Endless silver crystals construct the heavens and earth, and crystal-clear light surges in from all directions, refracting countless wondrous rainbows. Each crystal seems to embody the essence of moonlight, radiating an aura of holiness and eternity. The entire space is like a flawless gem embedded in the depths of the universe, breathtakingly beautiful and awe-inspiring. The dome hangs high, with thousands of crystals cascading down, like a glass waterfall cascading down by a god, splashing light and forming a dreamlike galaxy. The ground is made of layers of silvery white crystal, and every step you take will evoke a distant echo, as if you were stepping on the strings of history. The air was clear yet heavy, carrying a faint, cool fragrance, the silent breath of power accumulated over millions of years. In the center of this sacred realm, bathed in silver light, stand 12 magnificent thrones. Each throne is carved from a single, massive piece of silver crystal with naturally flowing patterns that resemble solidified moonlight. They stand tall and majestic like mountains, forming a circle, like an eternal council, quietly guarding this unparalleled space. On the throne, Zhang Yi saw the 12 figures sitting there. Each of them was clad in magnificent silver armor, with patterns of stars and moon shadows embossed on the armor, as if they were symbols of the laws of the universe. Every inch of the armor shone brightly in the light, as if it were not an ordinary object, but forged from the primordial material of the universe. They are tall, about 5 meters, which is the standard physique of the Aihen tribe. The seated posture exudes the imposing presence of a mountain, yet retains elegance and sanctity. The 12 goddesses each have a different appearance, yet they are all equally beautiful and captivating. Their eyes were deep, sparkling with a starry brilliance, seemingly able to see through all the illusions of the mortal world. Their aura is ancient and profound, carrying the vicissitudes of millions of years, yet retaining a tranquility and dignity that transcends the mundane world. These female giants were the Aihen race goddesses who came from the distant path of ascension billions of years ago. They crossed the Sea of Stars and descended upon the origins of the Radiant Moon Empire, leaving an indelible mark on this land. Today, they still stand guard here, like 12 eternal silver monuments. The entire underground world appeared exceptionally sacred under their gaze. The brilliance of the crystals intertwined with their aura, forming an invisible realm that made one feel as if they were in a sacred place beyond the laws of the universe. Zhang Yi raised his head and looked at the 12 imposing figures sitting upright, feeling an unprecedented shock in his heart. Everything here is so beautiful and magnificent that it transcends the ability of human language to describe it. He knew that he was facing a being that truly transcended eras and was beyond the mundane. Guided by CL Union, Zhang Yi slowly walked to the 12 silver thrones. When CL Union saw the 12 silver thrones, her eyes were filled with fervor and reverence. Because these are the creators of their Radiant Moon clan. Even though CL Union has lived for over 600 years, she has only seen them 3 times, including this one. She stepped forward and respectfully knelt down on one knee. CL Union has met the 12 ancestors. I have brought Zhang Yi, the earthling who inherited the collective unconscious heritage of the Tianyu Palace Aihen clan, in accordance with the will of the ancestors. Dear viewers, thanks for staying with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.